Welcome back to Soda City Live. How many history buffs do we have watching us today? How about some South Carolina history? Did you know our state has 7 constitutions? And it's not often that you can see all of them in one place, but right now you have a chance to do so. So joining us today is the director of the South Carolina Department of Archives and History, Dr. Eric Emerson. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So this exhibit is happening right now. And for those who didn't know that our state has so many constitutions, could you talk a little bit about why?
Sure, absolutely. So South Carolina's had more kind of pivotal changes in its history that have made it necessary to completely flip constitutions. I mean, South Carolina has 2 for the American Revolution alone.
Wow.
It did 1776 and 1778. And then when the U.S. created a constitution, they had to have another constitution, so 1790. When South Carolina secedes from the Union, it needs another constitution. When it comes back into the Union, it needs another constitution. When Congress wanted South Carolina to actually follow the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, it needed another constitution. And then by 1895, people didn't like that constitution, so it needed another one. So it's rare to have that many constitutions in a history state.
Right, yeah, and our state does have a very rich history. A lot of things have happened here, as you've explained, kind of like the winding path of all of our constitutions. So I understand that oftentimes we don't see all of these constitutions in the same place. Where are they kept otherwise? Well,
they're all kept at the Department of Archives and History. And it's the first time in the history of the state that all 7 have been on display. And it's a result of us sending all 7 of them to NEDCC to have them conserved. The General Assembly provided $200,000 to make that happen. And so we sent them to the foremost conservator in the nation, which is in Andover, Massachusetts. And that happened just before COVID hit. So we're really fortunate that we could get them up there in time for that.
Wow, yeah. And so what are some of the other exhibits that you guys have done in the past that, had a really good turnout?
Oh, sure. We did an exhibit on the Revolution of 1719. I mean, South Carolina kind of overachieves when it comes to revolutions, so it had one even before the American Revolution. We did one on the founding of the colony itself. In the 300th anniversary, 350th anniversary, we did one for that. For the centennial, the sesquicentennial of the Civil War, we had one for that. So whenever there's a major anniversary coming up, we try to do an exhibit, or if there's something pivotal around that time, we try to do it. We're going to do a major exhibit for the bicentennial because the 250th of the American Revolution is coming up as well.
Yes, that's right. And I know you brought something with you here. So could you tell us a little bit about this very old document that you brought with you?
Sure. So this is the ordinance that provided for ratification of this 1868 Constitution. That's the only Constitution that was put before the people for approval.
Right.
So conventions approved all the constitutions except for this one. And so that was actually sent out to the people for approval. And then from that, it went to Congress for ultimate approval.
Yes. And so at this exhibit, it's a lot of very curly, kind of cursive, and it might be a little hard to read for some people. Is there anyone there to kind of explain any of what's on exhibit?
Absolutely. I mean, if you show up and you want to see the exhibit, we can bring staff members in and talk to you, give you more detail about it. If you want to bring a big group in, we'd love to do that as well. We're open 6 days a week. 8:30 to 5 for people to look at the exhibit. There's no cost. It's the people's documents and the people's records, so we feel like we should bring it to the people whenever we can.
Absolutely, and we do have some information if we could put that up on the screen for you. It is the J. Vernon Smith Gallery exhibit, and again, that features the 7 constitutions of South Carolina. It's open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., and that does exclude state holidays, so make sure you don't come on one of those. But you can find it at 8301 Park Lane Road in Columbia. And again, admission is free. So this is so exciting. And tell us how long this exhibit is going to be available.
Well, we had thought about shutting it down earlier, but we think December 31st. So the last day of the year, we'll shut this one down and we'll start work on the one about the bicentennial of the American Revolution.